Hey everybody, and welcome to the Everyday Adventure Show. I'm Steven, and as always,
Nathan Courier!
Woo! And we are excited to be back. This past week we didn't film a video. Nathan and Ryan, behind the scenes. Ryan, how are you doing?
So good.
So good. Love you. I'm glad we could hear your voice in this video today.
They said I couldn't come on the camera yet.
That's okay. You know, you're working your way towards it. But they were on a mission trip in Mexico. Can you just tell me a little bit about it?
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. We got to go there. We got to do some construction work. We got to go and visit a couple orphanages. Really, it was a really stretching experience. I feel like everyone got to step out of their comfort zone at some point throughout the trip.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's actually what we want to talk about a little bit today, is just stepping out of your comfort zone. And over the next week as well, we're just going to kind of continue to talk about this topic of our comfort zone and how really life begins, and true life begins at the end of that comfort zone. And so maybe just talk a little bit more about that and how you saw that happen on the mission trip.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of cool because after, at the end of the day, we would kind of have a debrief and talk about, what did you learn today? How did you stretch yourself was actually one of the questions we would ask each other. And it was funny because for many students, they had to work on only one task throughout the day. And so it was very stretching for them not to be able to jump around. Where for me personally, I was the complete opposite. Like, you give me one task and I'll go at it. But this time I was jumping around to different things, which for me was very stretching.
Right.
It caused me to slow down and actually be in the moment and do things with people, which was a really, really cool experience. Even by the end of the week when we went out to have a final supper, I ordered everyone octopus, and so that we stretched ourselves outside of our comfort zone by trying something new. It was actually really good. I would actually order it again. It was great.
Nice. But I think with mission trip, I think there's this, availability to step out of your comfort zone, and you're in a different culture. You're dealing with different people, and a lot of the tasks that you're doing, like you guys were doing construction where some of the team hadn't done any of that type of construction, and you're going and ministering in places that are very unfamiliar and different contexts. And I think one of the beautiful things about missions trips is that it gives you that opportunity to step out of your comfort zone, to go beyond. And what is a comfort zone is the comfort zone is the sweet spot where I can kind of do life, and there's not much risk and there's not much challenge in it. And the way I kind of see it is that I can wake up every day and go to school or do my life and never have resistance. And stepping beyond that is where life begins. It's where freedom begins. It's where opportunities to dialogue with people and to stretch yourself begins. And so I think that's one of the beautiful things about things like mission trips. It takes us beyond ourselves and beyond that place. And so for me, I remember going on a mission trip when I was a senior in high school, and we went to Atlanta, Georgia, and worked at the Atlanta Dream Center, which is an amazing ministry. And I was this 18-year-old kid who I had been serving God for a while, but the hardest thing for me was having a conversation about God or praying in public or sharing anything about that part of my life with people. In Atlanta, some of the tasks we had were, okay, we're going to go in this neighborhood and we're going to invite all the kids to this thing. I was like, okay, I can do that. But then it was okay, now we're going to go to this street corner and there's people. We want you to go and talk with them and pray with them. And it was oh, wait, what? And so it was such a stretching trip. It was the first time I really remember praying out loud in a group. And I came back a totally different person because I stepped beyond that comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely. I can look back in my own personal walk with the Lord through mission trips and even just through everyday life, where I know that I would have to continue to stretch myself in things that weren't comfortable to do. There was something in me that would fight against don't do that. Sit back, stay comfortable, stay where you're at, stay where you know it's safe.
Right.
But I found that whenever I would step outside of that comfort zone and I would continue to walk in that discipline or whatever it was, there was 10 times more freedom on the other side of that, to where I was in a shell and I was kind of quiet and didn't want to go out or express myself much. But then as I began to do that, I began to experience freedom, and it just implemented every single part of my day and made every part of my day an adventure. It was great.
Right. No, that's awesome. Like when we remain in our comfort zone, we don't experience the abundance life, like the abundant life. We don't experience life to the fullest, and God is constantly calling us beyond that point. And I think, missions trips, I remember another occasion, I think you had a similar one, like I was asked to preach just a short time. It was my first time ever preaching was in Alaska when I was a junior or sophomore in college, and the leader of the trip was like, "Hey, somebody needs to preach tonight. Can you do it?" And I was like, "Sure." It was my first time, and did something like that happen for you in Mexico too?
Yep.
like 30 minutes before or something?
Yeah, we're about to head to church in like 30 minutes, and the missionary comes up to me and says, "Well, by the way, you might be speaking at church today. Do you have something ready?" I was like, "I sure can."
And it's those things that, like, all the time I want to put myself in situations that take me beyond my comfort zone. And it's not just like missions trips. Like, it's not like if you want to go beyond your comfort zone, go on a missions trip. It's no, like, wake up and open your front door and just say yes to the things that God leads you in. And every day provides these amazing opportunities to step out of your comfort zone. And so, like, what are some of those ways that every day we can step out of our comfort zone?
Yeah, honestly, what I find out is, like, as I've gone through this journey of stepping outside of my comfort zone, I find out that, like, deep down there's something in us that wants to step outside of that comfort zone. We want to be more, like, free and express. For me, sometimes I'll just dance throughout the day just because it's fun, I used to not be that way, but there's something in me that, like,
right. wanted
to do that. But again, I was, like, shutting myself off from that because that would be weird, right? Which I just don't care now. And it's a lot of fun. So I think, honestly, it's a matter of taking a moment to step back and being like, okay, what are the things that I wish I could do, but I don't allow myself to do? And being able to kind of work through those things and, like, okay, there's this area where I see, like, I wish I was able to talk to strangers more. Okay, then make it your goal of just like, all right, today, by the end of today, I want to be able to have a conversation with one stranger. Whether it's talking to that gas station attendant or whoever it may be. Maybe it's talking to your waiter or your waitress for more than just 2 seconds of saying,
right.
"Can I have more water?"
Right. Yeah, no, I think all those situations, but it just starts with walking out of our bedroom, walking out of our dorm or apartment or whatever that is, and just having our eyes fixed on the world in a way that isn't thinking about me, but it's thinking about others. And that's where the comfort zone ends, is when we stop thinking of ourselves and we start thinking of, okay, what are the things that if I step out, it might be scary, it might be a risk, but God's going to do something cool in that. So we challenge you to step out of your comfort zone this week. Do things that maybe scare you, make you a little tense thinking about it, but those are the places that God is calling you to. Those are the places that growth happens. Those are the places that freedom truly begins. And so we really challenge you to do that this week. But speaking of challenge, let's bring out the adventure wheel. There's a basketball hoop over there, and it didn't go in. We got the adventure wheel. We got Ryan, and also don't forget to share these videos, to subscribe, and also follow us on Instagram, Evday Adventure.
Woo!
Yes. But let's spin the Evday Challenge adventure wheel.
Woo!
Woo!
This week's adventure is. What is it?
Oh, it is the Blast to the Past.
Yeah.
Ooh!
Yes. It's the Blast to the Past. Tell us about this challenge.
Yes, Blast of the Past. So, as many of you, there's probably a lot of people that you haven't talked to in at least over 2 years. Maybe that's some old high school friends.
Okay.
Different, family members, whoever it may be. So, I challenge you to this week, send a text to those people. Maybe set up a phone call and just say, like, hey, I would love to just catch up on your life. It's going to be a great way to be able to, again, take the eyes off of yourself and put it on someone else and really be able to encourage them and love on them.
Cool. Yeah. So do that. Blast to the Past. #Evday Challenge. Share it with us, and we'd love to hear how you're stepping out of your comfort zone this week. But we love you. Keep living life to the fullest. Keep living the adventure lifestyle every day. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Woo!
Woo. Woo.
Just kidding.